Hey everyone, if you're currently in the market for a home, you've probably asked yourself, should I buy an older used home or should I buy a new construction home? Well, today I'm going to break down the pros and cons of both options so that you can make a smart decision for your situation. Let's get into it. First up, let's talk about the pros of buying an older used home. Now, there are exceptions to all of these rules, but for the most part, whenever you buy an older used home, you can typically buy it at a lower price than a brand new home. The reason for that is the home is older. It may need some work, it might need some paint, some touch-ups, some remodeling. It's got an older layout. It's not as modern. Kitchens, just mostly the layouts aren't as open with older homes. So the prices are going to be lower. So the first pro of buying an older used home is you can typically get it at a lower price than a brand new construction home. The other pro to buying an older used home is the neighborhood. You're getting an established neighborhood. You know what the value of that neighborhood is going to be. And you have a lot of mature things that you don't get in a new neighborhood, such as trees and landscaping. So if you're a person that likes to garden and you want something that's established with big trees, gives you lots of shade, an older used home is going to give you that cozy, mature, natural landscaping and trees. The other pro to buying an older used home is timing. So when you buy an older used home, you're not having to wait for construction to finish. So you can move in about 30 days or less when you buy an older used home. You're just waiting on the normal inspections. And as long as that comes out right, you can move in pretty quickly. When you buy a new construction home, oftentimes, if it's still under construction, you're having to wait for the house to be built, which could be delayed depending on the weather, but you can move in a lot sooner whenever you buy an older used home. Now let's get into the cons of buying an older used home. Like the name says, everything is older and it's used. Your plumbing, your electrical, your heat and air, and your roof are all things that wear and tear over time. So when you're buying a used home, you want to make sure you get a really good inspection before you buy that house. And even if it doesn't show up on the inspection, you could move in only to find out shortly after you move in that you've got major bills that come up because you have to replace the heat and air system, your electrical, especially the roof. That's something that's pretty common that needs to be replaced. So when you buy an older used home, you don't have that security that you would in a new home of having to replace things. The other big con when buying an older used home is the energy efficiency and your utility bills. So because it's an older home, it probably doesn't have the insulation, the updated windows, and updated heat and air system. So all of those things are going to cost you money, especially older windows. The insulation that is used in modern homes wasn't used back then. So you have a lot of air draft that's going to cost you quite a bit more money. Oftentimes, whenever someone buys a new home, they see a drastic difference in what they were paying before in an older home with their utility bills. So having to update all of that could cost a lot of money. So when you're buying an older used home, keep in mind that your utilities are probably going to be much higher than they would in a new home. The other con when buying an older used home is lack of customization. When you're buying a new home, there are a lot of things that you can customize throughout the home. But when you buy a used home, you're basically getting it as is. So, and a lot of times those styles are pretty outdated. So if you want to update your countertops, your flooring, there's a lot of things in the house that you might want to change and make it more updated and modern. It could cost you thousands of dollars, whereas if you buy a new home, it's already built in, made for you. Now let's get into the pros of buying a new construction home. So, like the name says, everything is new. You have a brand new roof, plumbing, electrical, heat and air system, appliances, new LED lighting, new modern design. So, everything is going to be brand new and it's covered under warranties that will protect you. So, you have that peace of mind knowing that everything is new. You don't have to worry about repair bills, anything going wrong. So, that's probably the number one thing, the peace of mind that you get with buying a brand new home. The biggest pro, in my opinion, with buying a new construction home versus a used home is the energy efficiency, the way they're made today to be much more energy efficient. So, for example, you have much better windows that are low E argon gas windows. The type of insulation that is used is different. You have tankless water heaters. Even the shingles on the roof today are much better at wind resistancy, which can give you a big discount on your insurance. So, the energy efficiency, the cost savings that you get, sometimes far outweigh if you spend a little bit more money on a new home. It can actually be less expensive on your monthly total payment when you factor in what you're going to pay in your utility bills. Another big pro when buying a brand new home is the customization. So, whenever you buy a brand new home, if it's under construction or still at a certain point in construction, you have lots of options that you can customize exactly the way you want it. You can pick out your flooring, your paint colors, your cabinet colors, your countertops, so even layout options. So, there are lots of different things that you can customize to make it your own that you can't do when you buy an older used home without spending thousands of dollars extra. So I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Let's talk about some of the cons of new construction. So one of the things that a lot of people like is mature trees and landscaping. Whenever you buy a brand new home, typically they plant everything new. So you have new landscaping, they plant a brand new tree, but it's going to take several years for you to see that big shaded tree that you love. So if you're buying a brand new home, that's one of the downsides if you love landscaping and mature trees. Another con when buying a brand new home is that it's the construction in the neighborhood. When you buy a used home, it's an established neighborhood. You don't have a lot of construction going on versus even if you purchase your home, you typically still have a lot of other construction going on. So you're going to have the streets maybe blocked with some vehicles delivering materials. If you're home during the day, you have to deal with the noise of the construction going on. So that is a downside. If you buy a new home, you're going to have to deal with construction until the rest of those homes are built in the neighborhood. The last downside to buying a brand new home is just the waiting. So if you're going to build a brand new home, it can take anywhere from 8 months to a year or longer if you're going to build a brand new home. Versus if you buy a used home, you can typically move in pretty quickly within 3 to 4 weeks. So time is probably the biggest downside to the con. But if you're wanting something that's newer layouts, modern, energy efficient, then if you have time to wait, then building a brand new home is worth the wait. So you're probably asking, which one is better, an older used home or a brand new construction home? In all honesty, it's totally up to you. Whatever fits you and your family best is what you should go with. So if you want something that's got mature shade trees, it's got more character, it's quieter, it's got an established name and reputation, then a used home might be better for you. But if you want a more open, modern floor plan with energy efficiency and updated materials, then a new construction home might be better for you. Either way, I hope this video helped. Be sure and like and subscribe and follow us for more videos. Thanks for watching.